I got it. Okay, a lot of people have cried bitterly about constantly getting unsuccessful responses from the companies they have applied to. You may have done everything possible in order to get through for an interview. You may have passed your IELTS, you may have passed the UKVI, or passed the 15 clear standards. You may also have a driver's license. You may have a good CV, good cover letter, and you have job experience in care related field, and you kept applying, yet you have not gotten a single successful application that invites you over for an interview. It may not be your fault, yeah. It might also be your fault, in quotes. Why did I say it might also be your fault? Because I recently had this shock, from a relative whom we have been helping all along. I've been sending any job offer, any job opening I see, I would send to my husband to say, even sometimes they deny me of my comfort of sleeping happily at night. My husband kept talking to her, guiding her, sending training. She has applied to over 20 jobs opening, and guess what happened? I think a couple of days ago, she was like, sorry, her passport had expired. So we were like, how have you been applying to all these jobs that you've been applying for? So how can you be applying for a job with expired passport? Because I also sent her a training link where she can do a free training with Florence. And before you can enroll into that training, you have to provide your passport details and all that stuff. This was at the point she opened up to tell us that the passport has expired. So this is, I'm coming to this. Anyway, if you are new to my channel, you are absolutely welcome here. Please subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, turn the notification bell on, and keep coming for more uploads as this. All right, so this might be some of the reasons why your applications may have been turned down or unsuccessful. One of them is this: job vacancies here, or job that people are applying for in this very country, they are highly competitive. Take for instance, a recruiter might just announce job opening, vacancy for about 10 people in a company, and they will get about 1,000 applications. And by so doing, they would just choose about 10 people that qualifies for this job, those that met the eligibility requirement for that particular job opening. Honestly, they might not be able to go through all the 1,000 applications. This is why I said, if you have done everything you can, and especially if you are sure that you met the requirement for orders, sometimes they don't get to read your application. By the time they have gotten those 10 people they want, maybe they have gone through about 100 applications and they were able to find the 10 people the company is looking for. If you are an employer, would you start going through the rest of the application, the rest of 900 applications? You wouldn't. Hence, you have gotten the 10 the company asked for. So this might be the reason. That is why I keep saying you should keep applying. So number 2 reason is this: employers are mostly looking for people who have experience in a care related field, those who have worked in care setting, those who have experience. If they see people with experience in care field, or those with qualification in health and social care, automatically they would choose people like that because they already have qualification in health and social care and they have experience. They would choose someone like that compared to you who hasn't, got experience in social care or health related field. Often at times, a lot of people tend to put in their application that they have cared for their grandparents, grandma. I have said this severally, that most employers and recruiters, they are familiar with such tricks of you taking care of your old parents, taking care of your grandparents. This is always common in most of the CVs. written by the Africans, So please avoid putting in this. So the number 3 reason why your application might be unsuccessful, even when you are certain that you have done everything in your power to get that position, especially when you have done all the trainings, you have all the experience, and you are looking forward to an interview invite. Unfortunately, you get an unsuccessful feedback from a recruiter. This might be as a result of what is tagged the resident labor market test. And what does this imply? Okay, this basically requires the employer to show to UK Visas and Immigration that no settled worker is available for the role the employer wish to fill up with a tier 2 visa worker, So this basically is a law that restricts employers within the UK to employ someone who is outside of the UK, especially when the job they want to give to someone who is outside of the UK, there is someone here who can do the job. So basically, you send in your application, and they need about 5 to 10 people. They will firstly look around to see if there is anyone here that will take up that job position, Assuming, even sometimes they might even invite you over for an interview. They might give you a date for an interview from the overseas, and the next day, someone who is resident, be it British citizen or people who do not have citizenship in this country, hence they are already on ground, and they apply to this same job and they are successful. Honestly, they're gonna take that person. Why? Because it will cost them less to employ someone who already has a visa, a residence permit on ground, than bringing you from Africa. Because bringing you from Africa or anywhere in the world, they have to pay for COS, which costs them, some say it costs them, I don't know, over £14,000 or more than that to bring you in, So this might be the reason your application keep coming back unsuccessful. All right, so the 4th reason is this, and it is simple and straight. If you haven't passed your IELTS exam, test of English exam, it is unlikely that you will get the chance of being invited over for an interview, because definitely there are a lot of people who have passed their IELTS, UKVI, so they would definitely want to employ those who have shown a proof that they can speak English, they understand English, so they would give those people a chance rather than you who hasn't done IELTS. Well, another tangible reason that might not really be, that fascinating is when a recruiter or an employer decided not to employ people from a certain country. For instance, people from a given country, they employ someone from country A, and your contract, you sign a contract to work for them for 5 years or 3 years. And within a short period of 2 months, you have just made up your mind to say you are no longer interested, you want to change employer, you want to change a job. I have seen a testimony, somebody who came in as a healthcare assistant into the UK. Healthcare assistant visa is 5 years. A company brought you in, sponsor your coming. On arrival here, and you are giving a testimony that within 3 months, you have become a pharmacy assistant. You have changed the job. Do you think that these people that brought you in, they're going to be happy after they spent all the money, all the time, going all through the processes, having to let the UK visas and the immigration know that this person is duly qualified and we are sponsoring her coming? On getting here within a short space of 6 months, you left that job to a different one. You left your employer to a different one. It will bring a kind of it's a dent, to be honest, and it is a bad luck to some other people wishing to come into this country from that particular country you have come from. Because an employer, if an employer says he or she is not going to be employing people from that your country, the person is right, though it is not justifiable that everyone is bad. But one finger can spoil the rest of the fingers, the rest of the 4 fingers, So this might be the reason you are not getting an invite for an interview. Yeah, because of what someone else has done. It's quite a pity though. And this is also another reason you might be turned down when the content of your CV is not good enough. Your personal statement is not catchy. your cover letter is not catchy, you know, especially your personal statement. You keep beating about the bush, saying things that does not tally with the job you're applying for. That is why we keep saying update your CV. Make your CV, especially your personal statement, in relation to that particular job you are applying for. If it is a healthcare, reschedule it to that, update it to healthcare setting. If it is an accounting, update it to accounting. Put in your experiences in banking, accounting section. You know, if it is teaching, you do the same. If it is mechanic, cleaning, you do the same. You know, so this might be another reason when your CV, the content of your CV is not fascinating to them, they put it aside. Now, I can categorically claim that this very reason you get rejected, it's simply your fault. When you are applying to a company that doesn't have sponsorship, companies that don't give job to, you know, foreigners outside of the UK, not every company has this sponsorship. For a company to have license to sponsor, they have to apply to Home Office to be given this license to bring in someone from Africa or elsewhere in the world. A lot of companies are yet to come up with this. They are yet to get this license. But when they advertise job online, on Google. Recently, I had a cousin who said, in fact, she has gone over halfway of her job application, and she came back to us to say, this very job she's applying for, they say they only want people in the UK. What does that imply? That job is only meant for people already in the UK. That means they don't have sponsorship to bring in people outside of the UK. So before you start making application for any job, ensure that you have read through the requirements, because the requirements, they are always there listed, and it has to say if that job has sponsorship, if they are willing to sponsor people outside of the UK or not. And it has to say tier 2 workers visa or sponsorship. Either of these lines, you know, should be there for you to start applying. So please make sure that you read details. Don't waste your time after you have gone halfway before you would find out this very fact. It can be very, very annoying. Read the requirement. If they need you to have a driver's license. Did you remember why someone lost his job here? He said yes, that he can drive, he knows how to drive, and the company sponsored him to come to UK. On getting to UK, I think when he was about to resume his job, they asked him to drive or something, and then he decided to say he can learn to drive. He doesn't know how to drive. You have lied. They expect you to be transparent. Transparency is top-notch in this very country. A simple thing, that something that you might think that is simple is not simple to them. They meant it when they say yes, they meant it when they say no. This was how they revoked this person's visa. The contract was revoked back to wherever the person came from, you know. So ensure that you read through the requirements. See that you meet all the requirements before you start applying, because it is always there. In fact, they will even give you a tip to the personal statement they expect you to put in your CV, what the job role is all about, what they expect you to be doing if employed. So while writing your personal statement, you relate it to the job description. That is what is called job description. Okay, I hope this helps you, you know, but do not lose hope. Keep applying. Even when you meet, or even when you are certain that your CV is clean, you meet all the requirements, you've done your IELTS, and you know, you got everything intact, never lose hope. Keep applying. One day luck might shine on you. You get a positive response from any of these recruiters or employers. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't.